What do you make of Arsenal's performance, really?
Well, first of all, I have to say how brilliant Wolves were and how hard and difficult, and they frustrated Arsenal for long periods of the game. And Arsenal didn't play well at all. There was a nervousness about it. They were edgy. But ultimately, what they did, I thought, really well, Arsenal, was what they've done really well in games this season also, is crosses. That was the one constant in the game today, that particularly down the right-hand side with this guy. And what is impressive also is how many numbers they actually get in the box. You got Tim up there, that ball goes in there, he comes inside, left foot, very good cross. 1v1 on the right-hand side. He goes again. You know what he can do. Very difficult to mark. He goes on the outside this time. But same thing again. You've got bodies in the box. This time it's Rice that's getting on the end of it. But constantly they're putting balls into the box and asking questions of the defence. And I don't care who you're playing against. It's tough to do. That's it. That's an unbelievable cross and deserved to be in the back of the net. But he kept on doing it. 30 crosses they got in the box today. Second in games, that is. 32 they had against Manchester City, and there's no doubt that I'm seeing that more crosses, not only from Arsenal but from teams that are coming into the box last season and in particular this season. And ultimately, when you keep on putting balls into the box, that's what's won them the game today. Whether they played well or not, you can discuss who was good, who was not. But that was the impressive thing about them, is how many times they kept going into those positions and getting them in there, and still people trying to get on the end of it.
It was another set piece that broke the deadlock here, and there's a bit of noise as well about Saka and offside in the build-up to this, which we will clear up in a minute, Dan.
Yeah, here it is. I mean, you can tell he's in an offside position there from the first look, and most of us watching it thinking, oh, he could be offside, and then when it actually goes, he clears it out for a corner. We'll go through the rules in a minute. It's not offside. They get the corner. We know how good they are. It's actually not his best ball in the world. Keeper should deal with it, and he doesn't. But the amount of pressure they constantly put on goalkeepers time and time again, it's no wonder they make mistakes. But he'll be disappointed with that. And they get the look as well. Bounces off the post on the back of him, and that's where we thought the game was done.
Okay, so here's the reason why, and we've checked with PJOMOL here, why he wouldn't have been given offside here. Because Bukayo Saka didn't do any of these four things. He didn't affect his opponent's line of vision. He didn't challenge the opponent for the ball. He didn't attempt to play the ball. He just dropped off, didn't he? And he didn't do anything that impacted the ability of the opponent to play the ball. So when you look at it, like that, in black and white, that is why he wasn't given offside.
Yeah, and you have to accept that decision. That's something we've seen now for a long time. And obviously, if he'd have gone in and scored on that, he'd have been off. So, yeah, right decision. Well done, VAR.
Yeah.
Refs. All of you.
All of them, whoever they are. All of the officials.
They did find a way, didn't they, your old team, Mr. Aaron Ramsey? And let's have a look at what it does to the top of the table without giving away what happens in the other games, which is still to show everyone. Arsenal with a 5-point lead over Manchester City. Played a game more. Aston Villa 30, 31, 36. It looks healthy, doesn't it, for the Gunners?
Yeah, it does. I mean, obviously, these are the games that you need to win if you want to, be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. So, especially with Man City, who have been there for, many times. Their experience there, they've done it. You've got them breathing down your neck as well. So it's important now to try and keep as much distance as you can between yourselves and them, because they have sort of, shortened that gap a little bit now. So sitting top of Christmas, you'll be happy with that. And, hopefully a lot more to look forward to now in the new year.
Yeah, look, Arsenal were frustrated, whether that was down to Wolves, whether it was down to a bit of themselves. They didn't have a shot on target, Tim, until the 68th minute. Yeah. But the first goal came in the 70th from a corner. Surprise, surprise.
It's about the delivery. It is when Declan takes it. It is when Saka takes it. I think Sam Johnson in the goal there, he's looking for a defender or someone to come onto his toes, and no one ever does. And they get a little bit fortunate, of course they do, but the delivery was absolutely magnificent from Bukayo Saka. A player who's just amazing for that in that Arsenal shirt. When you need someone to get you out of trouble, he was the one who stood up there today, not only with that goal, with the delivery, but he's a constant threat. And as we see with the winning goal as well.
Aaron, your old teammate, Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal boss, he said he was very frustrated at just how passive Arsenal were, having taken the lead.
Yeah, I think, it was a very honest assessment after the game. And, at the end of the day, the 3 points is all that matters. But, you want to be able to learn from these little experiences that you get throughout the season. So for them, as soon as they scored, they looked a bit...
edgy.
A bit edgy, like they were sort of trying to protect that now. And that just invited Wolves, onto them. Put themselves under unnecessary pressure. The ball comes out, the guy has a free, cross to put in the box. Nobody really closes him down. And then, turning your back, you got to face that ball and take one in the face if you must. But all these little things were, you could sense it. They were under pressure for, 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever it was. And Wolves did deserve that probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only reason they're that deep. I mean, they're deeper than the penalty spot there, Will. I mean, in normal circumstances, when that ball goes out and it gets cleared, they're out to the 18-yard box and they're holding a line there. But because they get nervy, they're trying to hold on, they all got behind the ball. It was unnecessary for them all to be that deep and behind the ball. And when you give even poor players like Wolves have the quality, the timing to deliver a ball into your box, and it was a decent finish in the end, and you thought, hold on a minute, this is disastrous for Arsenal. But, champions find a way to win, and perhaps that is, for me, I think they'll win it this year. I really do. I believe they will. I think when they see obstacles in their way, they're getting over them at the moment. Even when they take a devastating defeat last week at Aston Villa in the 95th minute or something. They needed to win today and the pressure was on them to come and put a performance in. They didn't do that. Yeah. There was no performance. It was edgy towards the end. But you know what the most important thing is? The result. They get 3 points, maximum points, and the manager can then show them the video of how they drop deep and they can learn from it going forward, because believe you me, it's going to get a lot more edgy than what it is now. Yeah. The anxiety is going to increase during the season.
And if they are to win the Premier League title, they might look back at this game and think this was a key moment. This was in the 94th minute. It's nearly Christmas. One own goal wasn't enough, was it? Yerson Mosquera in the 94th minute here. Gabriel Jesus causing all sorts of problems around him, Aaron.
Yeah, what I loved here was they had the overloads in the box there, 4 against 3. And then Saka, obviously coming in onto his left. We know how deadly he is from these positions. Put in an excellent ball. And then the runs then, his run across the defender is brilliant. He causes that bit of sort of, unrest between them. And then, it comes off his head and goes into his own goal. But, the runs there were just as important as the cross to create that goal. But that's it. They found a way. They kept going. Last week, they were on the other end of it, where Villa did that. But this week, they seem to have learned from that as well and, finished the job off.
Tim, how important when you're not playing at your best to still be picking up points in this race?
Yeah, win ugly, is what you look for, and that's very ugly tonight, wasn't it? At the beginning of the game, I certainly felt that it was going to be a lot more comfortable than they actually turned out, but they struggled. They really did. They had to make some changes. They made three or four changes off the bench to try and turn the game in the favour. But one player you never bring off is the game changer and a difference maker, and that is Bukayo Saka. Always stands up and he always sticks his chest out and says, I'm going to be the man to make the difference here, and he's done on 2 separate occasions there tonight.
He did make the difference. Should they've had the corner for the first goal, when we look at that, I mean, we won't know, sort of forensically looking at this, it looks like he might be off there, Tim.
Difficult decision for the linesman to make. I think it's inches. I mean, look, if it goes to VAR, then there's possibly that he's just offside, but it's very difficult for the naked eye to be able to see that.
Yeah, obviously they wouldn't go to VAR in that situation because that phase doesn't end in the goal, but he puts the delivery in, Aaron, and it causes Sam Johnstone all sorts of problems.
Yeah, I know he gets caught under a little bit there, doesn't he? And then there's a little bit of traffic around him. Maybe he could have got a little touch on it, but yeah, it's unfortunate for him that it's bounced off the post back onto him and gone in. But you'll take that as an Arsenal fan, yeah.
But how do you pick the bones out of that as a manager?
He's got to do better than a goalkeeper. Has to do better. I think he's played well tonight, but he's just switched off. I think he's surprised that there's no one on him, because normally they've got players all around him, and all of a sudden he looks for someone, and then by the time he's looking for someone to come into him, the ball's going over his head, and he can't move his feet quick enough to get himself back on it. But it's a real shame for him. If you just look at him, if we just go back a bit, I mean, you see him like he looks at someone as they come, and the balls. It's a fantastic delivery, and if he doesn't dive, he gets headed off the line probably from the defender at the back post. But you know, the delivery is fantastic. We saw Gomeris do that for Newcastle, didn't we? Last week, was it? You know, so some of these players now, they're trying to score at the back post. They really are. They're clearing the area out. And defenders have to get on their post and help the goalkeeper out.
11 set-piece goals for Arsenal this season, 9 of them from corners. They've done it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a sort of big asset to have in your game, isn't it? It's like once things are not quite going your way, and you've got that to fall back on, you know, there was a few chances in the first half as well which could have gone their way, but yeah, they've been fantastic from that. And there's a sort of anticipation now every time that Arsenal take it or have a set piece with a throw in or a corner. There's everybody's on the edge of their seats now in the stadium, sort of thing. But yes, it's an asset, and they're taking full advantage of that.
Well, Aaron Ramsey was on the edge of his seat when Wolves went 1-0 down. But how do you think, Tim, Arsenal managed it in front towards the end of that game?
Not very well. I mean, we're in December, you know, and they got edgy. They got nervous. We haven't started yet. You're not even in the. I've been there myself. We know what it's like. Become March, April. If they're doing that now in December and sitting back, there's no communication from the outside. Mikel's not telling them to drop off, but we saw it coming. 5-10 minutes before, we said, why are they dropping so deep? Why not playing on the front foot again? Why are they not closing people down? And that's how the goal. Look at Declan Rice, get to the ball. Odegaard, get to the ball. You got Marino into the box there, marking no one with his hands on his head there when the ball goes into the net. You see it here. Everyone decides to get behind. We'll just protect what we have. They were never in the game, really. The only way they're ever going to get in the game is by lumping balls into your box and competing. We saw it with Sunderland, didn't we? When they come back, when they scored that very late goal. Get out to the ball and put pressure on, because even though they're not having a good season of it, they got talented players who can play. When they got that sort of time, if you're a professional footballer, you can stick that on the money, and that's a great delivery and a wonderful finish. Too nervy for me, Will. If they're that nervous at this present moment in time, we're not even carved the turkey. You know, by the time the Easter eggs are out in April, they're going to be panic stations. That is when it counts. And they haven't done it before. And they're going to listen to the outside noise. No, they're going to bottle it again. They're going to this, all this. But what they showed when they were 1-0 up, they have to try and get out of them. But the good thing is, Mikel can use that now on the back of a positive result and show them, just saying, why are you dropping so deep? You cannot do this again, and learn from it. And I think they're capable of doing that because the manager is so astute.
You agree with that, Mr. Ramsey?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing now, is that they have that to fall back on and to learn from. Like, they've come away with the 3 points. Yeah, here, look, there's 3 players that can go and close and stop that cross. You have to be brave. You can't turn your back in these situations, and you have to take it in the face sometimes, because otherwise this can happen. And on another day, this can punish you and cost you a couple of points, and then give other teams opportunity then to come back and come back and take the top spot around Christmas time and things. So it's so hard to win a Premier League. It's so hard, and you can't afford to slip up in in these situations. And hopefully now they'll use that to their advantage. So if this does happen again, they've got that to fall back on. That, we've been here before, guys. We can come back and still get a result here.
And just as I was making you a cup of tea, Aaron, I said there's another goal in this one. Not over yet. 6 minutes on the board. I thought, get that one in there, Tim. Got out of jail, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah, they did. Listen, there's no question about it, but obviously they have the belief that they can always score, and yes, it's taken another action. What I like here is that they had 4 against 3 at the far stick, in the box here as well. So they had willing runners to run across their men, and this is why they scored that goal, because otherwise he has a free header, he heads it away, and that's that. But they got across their men, got in front of them, caused a bit of disruption there. Great ball in from Saka again. Coming in on his left, and there we go. You get your rewards for the work that you put in.
What's that down to, Tim, from a Wolves point of view, so late on there? They looked absolutely flawed, didn't they, at the end, those Wolves players?
They did. They give everything. I just think that's a bit of a real quality from Bukayo Saka, and a great run from Jesus. for me, I think that never gets ruled out unless we have replays and VAR. And listen, I've scored a load of them goals, or a couple, and no one ever looks at it again. For me, he's got to style that out. He's got to wheel away, and it would take some analysing to take that off him. I mean, it looked for all the money in the world that it was Jesus' goal, but he didn't want to celebrate because he knows we're going to scrutinise it and tell it was an OG. But I'm sure you scored a few as well, which...
you take anything, you claim anything.
Oh, look at that.
I'll be off with the top off everything then.
Of course. I mean, it just looked, didn't it? It just, like this one, when you slow it down, you see it comes off the side of the face there.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, look, Gabriel Jesus obviously involved in there and causing all sorts of problems. Aaron, you've been out for so long with an injuries, and he has as well. I mean, he played obviously in the Champions League, didn't he, midweek, but 11 months out. How good to see him back and smiling on a football pitch.
Yeah, it's obviously brilliant. I know probably, the amount of work that he's had to put in to get back to where he is now. All them hard sort of hours, repetitions that you've been doing in the gym that nobody sees, but mentally really challenging, and all the hard work now is paying off again because he's come back. He's played midweek and now he's come and made an impact again tonight. So it's great to see him back. He has so much quality, and he's got a threat there, a different threat to the players and type of players that Arsenal got, and he's got the experience as well of getting the job done. So he'll be a big asset towards the second half of the season now for Arsenal.
So look, for now, briefly, they can put their feet up, Arsenal, watch Manchester City, see how they go on at Selhurst Park tomorrow. But when they look at their own fixtures that come, as you know, both too well, you two, they come thick and fast, don't they? And Arsenal's games over the festive period, how crucial is this particular period up until what we can see there with Liverpool on the 8th of Jan?
Yeah, you can't win it now, but you can certainly put yourself out of it. I think they're in it, that's for sure, for the long haul. I'd liked what I've seen from Arsenal this season.
They're still your favourites?
Yeah, I don't like... that's very fresh in my mind, that game, and I don't like what I saw, to be perfectly honest. Even though they win the game, I just didn't like them. They were very nervy, Will, and I was just a little bit worried for them. Like I say, we're talking about December. It's going to get edgy and more anxious. And if they start showing that anxiety on the pitch, it will breed to the stands, and then it takes a brave man to go and play in that environment. They have, because everyone's waiting for them to foul. Everyone's waiting for them to bottle it. That's what they've been labelled with. I'm not. I hope they go and win the league. I really do. I want someone different to win the league. I think they're capable of doing it. I think Mikel's a fantastic manager. I think they've got a great squad.
Your old team, Villa, could win the league, Tim.
Yeah, may not have the strength in depth, but then they will get edgy for them as well. The only team who won't get edgy is one team who's been there and done it many, many times, and they're the team chasing them at the moment, Man City.
Yeah.
Arsenal's dramatic win over Wolves at the Emirates was far from perfect, but it offered lessons that could define their season. Matches like this often decide titles, not because of how well they are played, but because of how they are handled. The first takeaway is the value of winning ugly. Arsenal dominated possession, but struggled to break down a disciplined Wolves defense. On another day, frustration could have led to dropped points. Instead, Arsenal stayed patient and kept pushing until the very end. That persistence matters. Secondly, the match highlighted the power of sustained pressure. Even without creating many clear chances, Arsenal's constant attacking presence forced Wolves deeper and deeper, eventually leading to a decisive mistake. Pressure, when applied long enough, almost always tells. However, the game also exposed areas for improvement. Arsenal must be sharper in the final third and more composed when protecting leads. Conceding late showed a lapse in concentration that stronger opponents will punish. Most importantly, Arsenal showed mental strength. After being pegged back late, they refused to accept a draw. They reacted with belief and urgency, and that mentality shift is significant. This was not a classic performance, but it was a crucial win, the kind champions learn from.